Hey, Shalom, all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahak Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone rule well. Peace, salutations, and blessings to the elect, pushing the word across the four corners of the earth. Risk your life to do so. And I'm the brother Shaman of Great Millstone, Chicago. And look what we have here, look what we have here. And see, part of our walk is persecution, but with a certain level of infamy. But part of our walk, they say I will make them famous in all the lands, all these different places, because these high-level Edomites are found liars. Right? They're found to be liars. And I knew when I saw the website, I said, there's something behind this. This is a law center out of Alabama. Talking about a bunch of black supremacy groups all over. Like, yeah, right. Right. Which that's been Esau's MO for a long time. All right, we were like, what happened to the Klan? Shit, the Klan did a rebrand. Right? They start jumping into NRA. They start jumping into police force, judges, lawyers. They start jumping into official positions versus just straight up getting rid of you. Yeah, Alabama. I mean, Alabama, you could get lynched. They would do Klan lynchings up to the 60s, 70s, in places like that. They would march through them towns where Jake was at, and then, Jake knew at the end of the day somebody gonna get lynched. That's why a lot of Israelites fled out of them particular zones where they was poor, and you surrounded by a bunch of rednecks who own everything, and are completely corrupt. That's why Jake moved up out of them zones. All right, and call Lo Yamla, Yahweh Shema was shot for all the brothers who are still there. But this is an article by Fox, which Fox, but on this one they got it right. Yeah, all things come to the light. Everything is going to come to the light. The truth is going to come out. The FBI Director Kash Patel and Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche announced a sweeping indictment Tuesday against the Southern Poverty Law Center, accusing the far-left nonprofit of fraudulently paying members of extremist groups like the Ku Klux Klan. A grand jury in the Middle District of Alabama returned an 11-count indictment charging the SPLC with 6 counts of wire fraud, 4 counts of bank fraud, and 1 count of conspiracy to money launder, which that's what it was. It was money laundering. And then they were being funded by big names, and I'm gonna pull up those names. All right, and that's why we say all this politics shit, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Whichever party you pick, and Jake is still going to these people demanding reparations. Which, if they gave out cash, I'll take the cash, but it's gonna be more than that. Yeah, it's gonna be more. We're gonna need more than that. It said they secretly funneled more than $3 million in donations to at least 8 individuals associated with violent extremist groups, including the KKK, United Klans of America, the National Socialist Movement, Unite the Right, Aryan Nations Affiliated, Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, and more. According to Blanche, the SPLC paid members of these extremist groups so it could create a work product that reported on these activities. To the end, the SPLC was doing the exact opposite of what it told its donors it was doing, not dismantling extremism, but funding it. And I can't stand a false report. Can't stand them. You gotta lie about shit. Hey, Deuteronomy 33. And this is why the Lord is only giving salvation to the Israelites. All these other nations, they're not in trouble like us. They're not in the same situation. They're not being, these people are trying to destroy us from Alabama, and they funnel, what the fuck? Because we are standing out here reading the scriptures. This is what Paul meant. He said false reports. And a false report is an abomination. Deuteronomy 33:28. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob ain't going to be nobody else with us but Israelites. Now they're coming out of a Gentile state of mind. The scriptures might refer to them as Gentiles, but they're Israelites, which Gentile means nation. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also his heavens shall drop down dew. All right, the Lord is going to bless us, man. Just like Esau had the dew of heaven, we're going to get the dew. Now, happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee, O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. All right, our enemies are going to be found liars. You niggas are fucking lying. Right, and been lying and continue to lie. And it says that tongue shall turn back on itself. Your own people are calling you liars. And all this is only being done because you guys have divisions in your house. You know, years ago, shit like this, it would have went under the radar. Nobody would have said shit. But now, you know, dissension is so high that everything is just, they just drop. Oh, we found this, we found that on this side. And let's see who the funders are. According to the New York Post, big name businesses and philanthropists, including George Soros. Of course, George Soros. Of course. J.P. Morgan, ex-Apple CEO Tim Cook, and George Clooney. The group, indicted Tuesday for funding millions of dollars, also holds over $786 million in assets. Then here's another report. $786 million in assets. These people are rich. And see, this is what has been happening for years. These media outlets have been in the state-run media outlets, because this is not just, you know, an accident or, you know, somebody who got lucky. This is something that was set up and funded by higher powers. You know, then they set up, you know, this little shell corporation or this little company, and then they use that to supply who they want to supply. They always go through a third party. You know, like the scriptures say, let thy strength be, let the law be thy strength. Now, you guys in law enforcement, wake the fuck up. But then again, you guys know the politics and the powers that be, and the all of the bullshit that goes on behind the scenes that you have to pretend is not, because these people are too powerful to be touched or prosecuted. You know, you guys know about that, but you still fight for these people. Okay. Now here's another article. And it says, it links the Biden-Harris administration. Say the House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan sent a letter to the Southern Poverty Law Center and CEO and President Brian Fair demanding documents and communications regarding the SPLC paying sources in any coordination with the Biden-Harris administration. Yeah. Yep, thy enemies shall be found liars. People being found liars. Yeah, that was weird. Isaiah 19. Yeah, Esau's losing it. And 13, the princes of Zoan are become fools. The princes of Naph are deceived. Right? These different cities of Egypt. And these people in high places, they're the princes. They have also seduced Egypt, even they that are the stay of the tribes thereof. The Lord hath mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof, as a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Right? That's them. Throwing up everywhere. It used to be, everything used to be, you know, the Ocean's 11, super smooth. You know, they could shoot at us in secret, like the scriptures say. Now, it's you're finding out. Oh, it was this guy. Oh, that's okay. And call Loyum La Yahweh Shemel Shai. Right? Who knows how this thing is gonna go? We know for one thing, this place is gonna be destroyed through many means. And the elect is going to be protected. Right? Because this is what it talks about with our princes, man. Isaiah 32:1, it says, behold, a king shall reign in righteousness. Right? Yahushai. And princes shall, under him, King David. And princes shall rule in judgment. Right? The princes, we're the princes, man. Yashar Allah, he prince of power. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And that's the time we're coming into. The man who stood so stiffly. Right? The whole time I heard a brother say it too. He said, we've been playing on legendary, impossible mode, you know, which with the Lord, nothing is impossible, but, you know, legendary difficulty. And these people have been playing on, you know, the intermediate, easy, you know, not going through the straight path, taking shortcuts whenever possible, you know, not drinking that milk, as the scriptures commanded us to do, drink the sincere milk. All right, and now all this shit is hitting the fan. People are going to lose their goddamn minds. All right, these women are going to lose their minds when the streets go to chaos. And see, the Lord is bringing up his men. And yeah, we go through whatever we go through. You know, they had their little run, talk shit, and you know, people were coming up to, oh, you know, the SPLC was, I think Vocab actually quoted the SPLC. Now he got to eat his words. That was Solomon 2:11. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. Therefore let us lie and wait for the righteous, because he is not for our turn, and he is clean contrary to our doings. He upbraids us with our offending the law, and objects to our infamy the transgressions of our education. And see, this is how they feel. Let us lie and wait, because these people are actually talking about what the Lord said, and we're just, you know, bullshitting pretty much, and going left, and they're calling us out about it. Right? Which it is what it is. It is what it is. Right, we're going to do what the Lord commanded us to do. So you Edomites, you thought that you were going to be in these seats forever. You thought you were going to get to establish yourself forever. What did it say? It was thought is that their house would go on forever. You thought that your houses would go on forever and to the future and super, yeah. And now They complain of an ungodly father. Now it's being found that all these organizations who are supposed to be of justice and all of it, they're all corrupt. And that's despite, they say they had damn near $1 billion in assets, right? All your money didn't mean shit. And that's how it's going to be. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, or HaKodash. Continue to endure. Continue to endure, Akim. Continue to endure. They say through false reports and yet true. Or through false reports and true reports. All right, so now that false report is over, and people can give a true report, which just like Senator Karen Bass, she gave a true report. Look, these guys are loud, but and may the Lord continue to bless us with favor. Shalom to the elect.